send the webinar to you guys afterwards. So yeah, so that's really not cool, throwing money down the toilet on rent is not cool. So definitely, so a lot of people say, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead and buy a property. Which is very smart, by the way. And also, if ever you move, if ever you decide to move, and that was always something that really was a barrier for me to buy a place. I thought, if I move back to Canada or move somewhere else, then maybe what am I going to do with it? But actually, it's an investment, so it's actually quite smart, and you can always rent it out or sell it. So you're just building equity, which is great. And so the next question comes like, okay, so where do I start to buy a house? And by the way, there's a lot of really nice new developments, and new developments have really different mortgage conditions, and the way the mortgages work are totally different, and how you buy the place is totally different. Right. And yeah, so that's something to consider. And of course, existing properties, are you going to renovate them? What are you going to do? The mortgages are also super different than the new build. And so today, to discuss mortgages and how to actually go ahead of buying that property, that you can call your own and, saddle up and make really beautiful. We have wonderful speakers, Cesar and Egle from Mr. Mortgage. Mr. Mortgage is a really awesome company, really friendly, really approachable. I don't know how many tons of mortgages they've done for expats. I think I've lost count personally of all the 5-star reviews people have told us, and just a wonderful, warm, awesome team. And they're here to really tell us a little bit about, actually a lot about how mortgages work in the Netherlands. I will be sending out the recording at the end, so I know I will get the question several times. Will you send out the recording? Yes, I sure will. And the next thing is, if you have any questions, do us a solid, and if you could put it in the Q&A to help us stay organized so we don't miss your questions, please put it in the Q&A, and then we can definitely answer it. If you do put it in the chat, we will also answer it, but it just do us a solid and make our life easier. Without further ado, I hand it over to Cesar and Egle to tell us about all these wonderful things in the next chapter in happiness of buying a property, and of course the major differences between the existing and new build, and also changes to the mortgages that are coming up next year that have already been kind of announced. And maybe these guys have insider knowledge. Maybe they could give us some more insider tips. I'm on the edge of my seat, want to hear them, so hand it over to them.
Thank you very much, Karim. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Before we started this webinar, actually, we had a quick tech check, and Karim is currently in Canada, and he was saying that over there it's a bit early, let's say. So well done, well done.
At
I
everyone's
applaud you.
service.
Sorry. Yeah. So my name is Cesar. I'm here together with my colleague Egle. We're from Mr. Mortgage, and today we're going to talk about how to buy an existing or a new built property. There are some differences which we will address in a bit. Just to give you an idea of who we are. Mr. Mortgage started in 2017. I'm the founder. Before starting Mr. Mortgage, I was working at one of the big banks in the Netherlands, one of the three. And I was working at the international department, and I saw how busy it got, and also I believed that we could do things a bit different. And then at some point, I thought, let me just do it and start my own business so I can show everybody how to do it. Luckily, I don't have to do everything on my own. So as mentioned today, we're joined by my colleague Egle. Maybe you could give a small introduction, Egle, of what you do and.
Hi, hello everyone. So I'm Egle. I'm originally from Lithuania, and I joined Mr. Mortgage, I think 4 years now ago already. I'm responsible for marketing, so I do a lot of different things and try to explain expats how they can use, let's say, what they can do with their mortgage and what options they have in the Netherlands, because in every country works different. So you can always visit our website and find a lot of information, or follow us on social media,
LinkedIn, Instagram.
Instagram, and if you like, even TikTok.
Wow. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you, Agle. And as you see, we also have a financial specialist that will help you.
Just 1 second. We got a comment that the sound is not great.
Um,
I can hear you well, but I'm not
okay.
sure how everyone.
Okay. What about you, Karim?
Well, I hear everyone. Can
Okay.
anyone, how does the whole group feel? Can you guys hear as well? I hear you perfectly. Maybe the
Okay.
person sound is okay. Maybe you could just maybe restart your computer or
Mhm.
I don't know if you use Windows or Mac. I don't want to go in that debate right now. It can get pretty, it's a little bit, what is it? No politics, religion, money, and Mac versus PC discussion and Android versus Apple. So we're not going down
Exactly.
there. All right, perfect.
Thanks,
Go.
thanks. Thank you everybody for confirming the sound. Yeah, what we do since 2017, we're a mortgage brokerage firm, and we're specialized in dealing with mortgage applications for expats specifically. We've been doing that from the start. All the information you will receive from us is always in English. So all the reports, all the calculations. What's even very nice when you work with us. So the obviously the official or formal paperwork from the banks will always be in Dutch. However, you will always get a translated template, so you can see exactly what you're reading and in the end what you're signing. Obviously, we will guide you through the document itself, but also you'll get the translation so you can read everything. We work with around 30 lenders. Why is that nice to know? So that means that there's a lot of options. For us, in the end, it doesn't matter which bank you pick because we are not getting paid by the banks. So that's good to tell you. We are getting paid by our clients. So in the end, obviously, at some point, we will set up a proposal. We will say we should move forward with Bank A for your specific case. But then, if you tell us, hey, I'd rather stay with Bank B or Bank C for some reason, then obviously we will make sure that the mortgage application gets done and approved at that bank. What's also good to tell you, because of our expertise with some of the banks, we have a preferred partnership or a priority partnership. What that means simply is that we can get things done faster, or we can get things done that others can't. So that's a big plus. There are no hidden fees. We will tell you upfront what it will cost, and depending on your situation, you will know exactly what you'll pay. What else will you get from us, and what is included in the service? So we will also connect you to one of our partners that will help you to set up the utilities for your new home. That's without additional charges, and also, and I will tell you about that in a bit as well. So the interest that you pay on a mortgage is tax deductible. That's good to know. And also, some of the fees you will pay when you buy a home, so the closing fees, some of those fees are also tax deductible. And our tax partner will help you to claim those tax benefits. So that's another plus, and that's without any additional charges. So that's us. What do we offer? What type of mortgages can we offer? Residential mortgages. We help freelancers or entrepreneurs, new builds. Also looking at investments. So buy to let, keep to let, refinancing. What we usually see is our clients buy a home and then 2 years in, they come back to us and they say, "Hey, I could I borrow money to change the kitchen and the bathroom, for example, because or I want to make my home more sustainable." Then we can also assist over there. And then sometimes we hear bad news that there's a divorce, and then also we can assist to look into the options of one of the partners taking over the home. So also the more tailor-made services we offer. What you can expect today, an overview of the Dutch housing market, reasons to buy a home in the Netherlands. I'm also going to explain what the differences are between mortgages for an existing property versus a new build. I'm going to explain a bit about the closing fees, and also I'm going to walk you through how it works to buy a home in a practical sense, I mean. So before we start, there's a poll, and I hope everybody will join us in answering the poll. And I think it's coming up. Yes.
So it's pretty much where are you planning to buy? Cesar, you made a comment about the bad
Yeah.
news and a divorce. And I'm
Yeah.
like, sometimes that can be the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, okay. That says something about my
The
personal life,
situation,
maybe. Yeah.
about the situation.
Yeah, yeah. Or how I look at it. Yeah.
So we've got
No,
two questions in there. Where are
mhm.
you planning to buy, and which type of property are you choosing to purchase? Ooh, very nice.
No, sometimes a divorce or getting fired creates new opportunities and new doors to
Yes,
open. So yes, I
exactly.
agree.
They say, why are divorces so expensive? And people go for it because it's worth it sometimes. So, yeah, but I can imagine they can sometimes be very difficult too. So,
Yeah. It's never easy. We're laughing about it, but
of course.
I
Yeah, I
cannot
know.
imagine it's
Yeah.
yep.
Cool. Uh, this poll looks like it's been really filled in well. Shall I good. Shall I share it? I think
Yeah.
everyone's done. Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
sure, sure.
So we're gonna end that poll and we're gonna share the results. Look at this. Amsterdam, no love for Haarlem and Leiden.
Mm,
Heartbreaker.
yeah.
Hague area, that's nice. Rotterdam,
Eindhoven.
Eindhoven,
Yeah.
very nice. Very, very
Yeah.
nice. And which type
Nice.
of,
Mm,
yeah, existing property, new build, very nice, and
hmm
considering both options. It's good to
Yeah.
keep an open mind, I think.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Thank you everybody for filling out the poll. The Dutch housing market. What do we see? So these are the amounts of properties being sold. So how many transactions were there? As you can see, and yeah, it depends a bit on how you approach this. And this is also good to tell you, these are all existing homes, so it doesn't say anything about the new builds. New builds have had a very slow time 1.5 years ago. But what we see now is that it's picking up and it's going really fast. Um, the transactions, what this tells you is actually that the market is heated. We don't expect any changes soon. There isn't a lot available. And yeah, it's a seller's market. So if you don't have a property yet, then it can be difficult to get your foot in between the door. However, if you work with professionals, so for example, a real estate agent that helps you in assisting or in buying the property, that will always help you in getting your foot between the door. So it's still possible, but we also see that the market is heated, and also we don't see it changing anytime soon, unless the government is going to build more than the 100,000 properties per year that they've promised. But that target isn't being reached yet, unfortunately. But what we also see, and this is the second or the other variable, which is quite important, looking at interest rates or mortgage rates. And you can see it from 2015. So we saw the interest rates slowly dropping down up until 2022, when inflation went up extremely. At that point, all the financial institutions took their foot off the pedal or the gas handle, and they started putting their foot on the brakes. Interest rates went up. However, what we see right now is that everything seems to stabilize. The European Central Bank is decreasing their rates. Also, the Fed is dropping their rates, and we don't expect inflation to go up that much because it should stabilize, especially. So currently the Netherlands is quite high, and they're a bit behind. But looking at the rest of Europe, but also over here, the inflation is expected to drop down and be more in line with the rest of Europe. So the overall expectation is that rates will drop, meaning, looking back at this chart, prices will go up because rates are going down, mortgage rates are going down, meaning it's cheaper to borrow money. And then also looking at the shortage in housing that we have, it means that prices will go up. So that's the general expectation. One remark I want to make, so from a historical perspective, obviously looking at 2022, like before 2022, comparing it to what current interest rates are, it's almost double. However, from a historical perspective, so before 2015, you can see that the interest rates were more or less the same as in 2023. So nothing too shocking. Reasons to buy a home in the Netherlands. Over here, so you in the Netherlands, you can borrow up to 100% of the property value, which means you need about 10 to 20, maybe 25K to pay for closing fees because you're borrowing the rest from the bank. You can choose anything between fixed rate mortgages, and a fixed rate mortgage can be 30 years fixed, which is not a popular rate to pick. Currently, we see either 3, 5, or 10 years being chosen a lot for good reasons, because the 3 to 5 years or the shorter term rates, they are chosen because the expectation is that interest rates are going to decrease. So our clients want to make use of that possible drop in rates without paying penalties in the near future. The 10 years rate usually maximizes how much you can borrow. So depending on the situation, and that's what most of our clients are currently choosing. Obviously, we will also show you what the 20 years rates look like, even if you want to the 30 years rates. Another reason to buy a home in the Netherlands, and also good to mention, sorry, about the rates, you can also choose a variable rate, so fixed for a month or 3 months or 6 months. Mortgage interest deduction, the interest you are paying is tax deductible, so you will get back somewhere around 25 to 30% back on the interest you are paying, and you can have that back. You can get that back annually as a big lump sum, or get it back on a monthly base with a preliminary tax return. Also, the closing fees I've mentioned are tax deductible. Not all of them, but some of them. And when you sell your home, there's no capital gains tax. So just to give you an example, you buy a home of 500K. In a few years, you're selling it for 600K. That 100K goes into your pocket without any additional taxes to pay. Yeah, as Karim already mentioned, you're building equity. So within the monthly payments, you're already paying back the principal. So the mortgage balance is getting lowered. It's a smart solution, especially if you're here for the long term. There's better affordability in comparison to renting. We've seen a significantly increase in or a significant increase in the rental market. And looking at the latest news, I don't expect that to change anytime soon, especially because of all the rules that have been put into place by the previous government. Another big reason to buy a home. So when you buy a home, you're going to pay property transfer tax, which is 2% over the purchase price. If you're a first-time home buyer and the property value is under, so 2024, 510K, there are a few changes coming up. So one of the big changes is that 510K limit is going to go up to 525K. So if you buy a home under 525,000, you don't have to pay the property transfer tax if you're a first-time home buyer under the age of 35. So that's a huge benefit. So buying a 500K home simply means you're saving 10K. Thank you, dear government. Existing property versus new builds. Just to in a general sense, what are the big differences? So when you look at Funda, you can choose to look for new builds, or you can choose to look for existing homes. The new builds have a fixed price, so you don't have to negotiate about the price itself. So that's very nice. That's a huge benefit because you know what you're going to pay. What's also good to tell you is that looking at borrowing, the better the energy label. With new builds, they have the energy label will be at least A. But the better the energy label, the more you can borrow. And another benefit is that banks will offer you a discount. Not all of them, but some banks will offer you a discount simply because you have a new build, so a new build discount. And why they do that is because new builds are energy efficient, meaning your energy bill will be low, meaning, and this is also why you can borrow more, meaning you have more to spend, and you can put that towards borrowing additional money. When you buy a new build, you will sit down with the developer, and what you can expect is that you can discuss how and where, how many rooms you want, where do you want to put the bathroom, the kitchen, etc. So that's quite nice. Closing fees are lower. You don't, and I will show an example later. The closing fees that you need to pay are tax deductible. There's low maintenance because everything is new, and the rental market is a bit more flexible. Looking at existing properties, obviously location flexibility. There is an opportunity to negotiate prices and inspect the property. I'm quickly checking if could somebody confirm if I'm still connected?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
We hear you
Yeah,
perfectly.
sorry.
Everything is looking great.
Yeah, perfect. Because the my screen went on was fixed, so I didn't know if I was still there. So there's a greater location flexibility because yeah, you can buy a home wherever there's availability. You do need to negotiate about prices. You will get a technical inspector. We will assist you over there. We will connect you to a technical inspector. They will visit the property. What's good to tell you, it's nice as a buyer to also be there when the technical inspector is visiting the property, because then you can get to know your new home, because they will tell you exactly, I don't know, anything about the roof, anything about the ceiling or the flooring, electricity. And in the end, you will also know if you can expect any bigger or smaller maintenance that needs to be done. And this will also help you in the negotiations in the end. Biggest benefit is obviously when you buy a new build, you still need to wait until the property is finished. With an existing property, yeah, you have the handover or the transfer of the property. That simply depends on the negotiation with the sellers. So you can move in directly. That's basically what's good to know. Yeah, so both of them have pros and cons. As I mentioned, new builds, lower closing fees, but then you need to wait until the construction is finished, and during that time, the mortgage payments will already start while you still have the cost of your current home, so either rent or the mortgage you already have. With an existing property, usually it's less energy efficient unless you buy a home that has been recently built. And then, yeah, that part could also have an impact on the maximum mortgage. So how do mortgages, or what is the difference between mortgages for existing and new builds? The requirements are the same. So the bank is still going to check who are you, dear client, what is your background, where are you from, what is your marital status, those types of details. They will also look into your financial situation. So what is your income? Do you have any financial obligations? What is being forgotten a lot is a agreement, or a lease agreement for a phone. So you take out a subscription from Vodafone, T-Mobile, one of the suppliers, and then they also give you the phone, but then the phone comes with a credit. So that one is usually forgotten. And also a car lease or a leased car is also one of the things that could have an impact on the mortgage application. They will also look into your assets and debts. So yeah. And last but not least, they will look into the property. So what does it look like? How is it maintained, etc. With a new build, obviously the approach is a bit different because the property isn't there yet. But in the end, yeah, that will also be assessed. The difference is the approach. So just to give you an example, if you buy an existing home, a bank would like to know, what are we going to finance? What does it look like? How is it maintained? If you're buying an apartment, how financially healthy is the owners association? So that means that an appraiser needs to visit, a third party needs to visit the property. And the bank will get a report, and based on that report, they will approve yes or no. With a new build, it will be based on the information that the developer is giving them. And that information, obviously, the developer needs to follow a lot of rules and a lot of requirements. So there's a bit of trust in that sense. And a big difference is also the closing fees, which I mentioned earlier. And I'm going to give an example over here. So on the left side, we see what you need to pay for an existing home, and what you usually see if you go to Funda, you see the asking price and KK. KK means kosten koper, and kosten koper means the buyer will pay for the cost of the transfer of the property. So that's on the left side, and on the right side of the right column, you see, and this is also what you see on Funda, VON, which means vrij op naam, and that translates to transferred freely on your name. So the actual cost is with the developer. Big differences: property transfer tax, existing home 2%, or 52K, 10.4% if you're buying an investment home. On the right side, with a new build, there is no property transfer tax because there's no property yet. A real estate agent is needed, and also, yeah, we advise to get one, especially in today's market. Depending on services, depending on their approach, the 6K is an example of what they could charge. With a new build, a real estate agent is not needed. Notary, the fees over there are also a little different. There's no property transfer deed, so that is the big difference. The only difference, or the only deed you do have, is the mortgage deed, but that is also saving you money. A valuation report is not needed, and 99 out of 100 times a bank guarantee is not needed with a new build. So you're saving quite a lot of fees. So you can see over here, you're saving 18K in closing fees. This is the example of the KK versus the VON. Just to give you an example of what it could look like then. So the 500K home. I won't go through all of these fees because I just mentioned them, but you can see new build on the left, 4.3K expected, and on the right side, two examples. So one is you don't have to pay the property transfer tax because you're a first-time home buyer, and you get the tax exemption because you're younger than 35. So then you're at 11K, and on the right and on the bottom you see what it will cost you if you do have to pay the property transfer tax because you don't fulfill the requirements. So that's quite a big difference. Just a little bit more about the way new build mortgages work, because we saw earlier it will, depending on how far things have progressed, but it will take 1 to 2 years for a developer to finish the building building on the plot they've bought. Your mortgage will start from the day that you go to the notary. This is the case for when you buy an existing home, and this is also the case when you buy a new build. The only difference is the amount you will pay every month. So if you buy an existing home, you borrow the full amount. So let's say 500K. That 500K is being transferred to the seller, and then your mortgage payments will start from day one. Looking at a new build, the bank will never transfer 500K to the developer at once, simply because the property isn't there, so they don't have any security yet. But what they will do is they will transfer an amount which will be in all the agreements you will have, so you can become the owner of the plot on which the property will be built. And every time the developer finishes a part of the building, so just to give you an example, so they put in the foundation, you will get an invoice of I can show you. Yeah, so you're getting an invoice, 25K. You send over that invoice to the bank, and the bank transfers that 25K to the developer. So what will happen is when you go to the notary, you become the owner of the plot. and in this example, it's 175K. So you're buying the plot 175K. Still available because you've borrowed 500K is 325K. What banks will do, because the money is still with them, they will actually pay you interest. The rate is usually the same as the mortgage rate. So if you're getting a mortgage with a rate of 4%, we could get it lower, but I'm just for the sake of the example. The bank will also pay you 4% on the funds that are still available in the deposit account. So you're paying 500K 4%, and you are receiving 325K 4%. Some banks will increase the deposit with the interest. Some banks will lower the monthly payments. So, and then every time you send the bank an invoice, 25K, so used from the deposit in that case will be 200K. So the interest that the bank will pay you will be based on the 300K. In the end, when the property is finished, the full 500K will have been transferred to the developer, and then your actual mortgage payments will start. So that is the biggest difference between mortgages for existing homes and new builds. Yeah, what can you expect? This could be a timeline. I'm already going to tell you, doing business in the Netherlands in December is challenging, especially with banks, because half of the team will be on a Christmas break. But just for the sake of or just to use it as an example, so it's December 4th of December today. A logical next step would be to schedule a call with us, with one of our specialists, so we can already have a bit of a personal discussion and see what is possible. Is your case feasible? Then we can start by you sending over a few documents or showing us your documents, so we can start calculating for you, and you will get a financial analysis from us, where you can see exactly what your mortgage options are. So how much can you borrow? What are the fees you need to consider? And this can either be for you buying an existing home or you buying a new build. Once you have that security, you can move forward, and if it's a new build, you can sign a purchase agreement directly. If you still need to find a home because you're looking for an existing property, then we'll just wait until you've progressed a bit in the home searching stage. Whenever you want to put in an offer, let's say you're looking for an existing home, please contact us, because what we will do then is we will look at, and this is also one of the big changes. So the energy label has an impact on how much you can borrow. The government is also changing the calculation every year. So from the 1st of January, the calculation of how much you can borrow will slightly change. And that could make or break the purchase of your new home. So from that perspective, it's also good to contact us. And another big difference is as well, and that I haven't mentioned, from next year onwards. So I don't know how many of you know about national mortgage guarantee, nationale hypotheekgarantie in Dutch. National Mortgage Guarantee is an institute backed by the government, and their focus is on assisting mainly first-time home buyers in buying their first home. And how they do that is they take away a bit of the risk that banks have when it comes to first-time home buyers, because usually first-time home buyers actually need to borrow 100%. And especially if you're already at your third property, then you don't need to borrow 100% anymore because of all of the equity you've acquired in the meanwhile. Um, uh, the national mortgage guarantee is currently capped at purchases below 435K. Next year, that is going to go up by 20K. So that could also make or break a deal in that sense. So it's good to contact us to see what is possible this year, what is possible next year. The cooling off period. So whenever you sign a purchase agreement for an existing home, there's a cooling off period of 3 business days. Within those 3 business days, you can cancel the agreement without any, let's say, a logical reason. It could be that you just tell me, I want to cancel the agreement because I don't like the shape of the windows of the property. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to make sense. Once the cooling off period has passed, you will be in the. You can only cancel the agreement if a mortgage would get rejected instead of getting approved. So that's the cooling off period. That all happens in December. When it's a new build, what you will do first is so if you buy a new build, you will get the home or the apartment, but usually there's no kitchen yet and there's no bathroom yet. And a bank would like to see that you have the funds or the means, either by borrowing or with your savings, that you can actually put in a kitchen, you can actually put in a bathroom to make sure that you can live in it. January, collecting all the required documents as soon as you've seen our proposal. So proposal meaning which bank to pick, etc. You gave us a green light. Then we collect all the required documents. We discuss all the mortgage options, and we make sure that the mortgage gets approved. And then in February, you could sit at the notary. You can sign the deeds, pay the closing fees, and then your mortgage will start to take off. I already see questions coming up, so I'm curious to help you and guide you through that. So actionable next steps. Gather documents. If you don't know which documents you need to collect, just give us a call, book a call. We will guide you through it. We will check both options if you're still a bit in doubt of what to buy new either or existing. And then after you've gotten the confirmation and the preparation, it will be time to start looking for a property. Our fees, existing homes, we charge 3K. Our fee is tax deductible, and we will also assist you in getting that tax benefit. So of the 3K you are paying, slightly under 37% you will get back, so 36.97. What you will get for that: mortgage advisory, brokerage, calculations, so the application, and also, as I mentioned, we will guide you with together with our network, so you can make use of our appraisers, notaries. We will assist. Our partner will assist you with the utilities. Our tax partner will assist you with the tax benefits. New build, the fee is slightly different because there's a slightly different way of working. Once you've bought the home, you would still need us for a few services when it comes to, for example, submitting invoices and also changing a few of the admin things at the bank, depending on your wishes. Mortgage advisory, calculations, and the mortgage application or approval. I think it's time to go into the Q&A and also answer questions. So if you want to schedule a call, the easiest way is to go to mrmortgage.nl and then click on schedule a call. You could also call us directly, or you can send us an email, and you can also always connect with me on LinkedIn. And you can also ask me your questions through the direct messaging from LinkedIn. Egla, take it away.
Yeah, so we have a first question from Q&A is that so when your income is from outside the Netherlands, you cannot benefit through those tax advantages.
This is yes, you can, but it depends on the situation, and it depends on tax residency, because that's what you're talking about. So yes, in a sense, you are right, dear anonymous attendee, but there are also ways around it, depending on your taxes. But this is maybe it's for you. It would be a good idea to contact us directly so we can answer or ask you follow-up questions, and then based on that, we can tell you how things work.
Okay. If age of a husband is more than 35 and wife's is below 35, do property transfer tax have to be given, considering that it's a first-time house under 525K?
Yeah. So I can see. Thank you for asking that question, Arun. So Arun is asking, age of husband is above 35, partner is below 35. How does it work with the tax exemption on the property transfer tax? When you buy a home together, and this is the technical perspective, when you buy a home together, you both will own 50%. So you're both buying 50% of the property. Meaning, when it comes to the property transfer tax, one of you is paying 2%. So the person above 35 will pay 2% on 50% of the property. So I'll give you an example. So again, the 500K home, 50% of that is 250K. On that 250K, you will pay 2%, so 5K. The partner, which is below 35, first-time home buyer and can make use of the tax exemption, that person will pay 0%, so they will have the tax exemption. So in a sense, you are paying 1%. I hope that clarifies, Arun.
Okay. Does technical inspector included in our Mr. Mortgage fee? There's just to clarify this.
No, a third party, a technical inspector is a third party. We don't have in-house technical inspectors, so that will you would have to pay the partner firm that handles that.
Thank you. And there is another Q&A. It's quite long. It's about the percentage of overbidding. Maybe you would like to read that one.
Yeah, it's from an anonymous attendee. Assuming the bank or mortgage lender provides funding for the full market value and you qualify for the first-time buyer transfer tax exemption, yeah. What is the average amount of personal funds required to cover the overbid? Overbid is okay. I will get into that in a bit. And additional purchase cost for a house with the current average market value of 450K. So you buy a home of 450K, you don't have to pay the property transfer tax. The bank is allowing you to borrow 450K. Additional cost in the example with the 500K property, you saw that it was at max 12K, including the real estate agent, including the mortgage broker, including the notary. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah. The overbid. This is a difficult. So on Funda, you guys will see the asking price of the property. It doesn't have to say anything about the actual value of the property. And what we in Dutch, what you would call an overbid is if the property if the property's value is 450K, but you bought it for 475, then you've overbid by 25K. If that's the case, then that 25K will need to come from your savings. If you work with a real estate agent, I know you have to pay a fee. However, they can exactly tell you the appraiser will visit the property and the value will come back 450K. So if you want to offer more than that, then the rest would need to come from your savings. So you would get a very good estimate of how much savings you need in the end. And they can also protect you, advise you, depending on your relationship with them. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
If you have a house outside of the Netherlands and you have capital in the house, is that seen as a risk or a positive thing when calculating how much you can borrow?
Yeah, this happens a lot actually with our clients. It depends a bit on the situation. So where is that property, in other words? And also, is it currently rented? What is the value? What is the outstanding mortgage balance? Those factors will, in the end, say something about how risky it is that you have that property. So I hope that answers the question. If you want to talk about your specific situation, please contact us so we can discuss it a bit further and can also guide you through anything you should look out for.
Can you buy a newly built and then secure a buy-to-let mortgage on it after a year?
Yeah, okay. In theory, yes. So let's say you buy a new build, then after a year, the property is finished, and then suddenly you decide, I actually don't want to live in it anymore because of reasons. Then we could assist you in refinancing it to a buy-to-let mortgage. So yes, it is possible. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just got our answer question in the Q&A.
Okay.
I understand that developers have phases for a newly built. For example, announcement starting the sale. Are these different prices through these? Are there different prices through these phases? And do you have connections with developers where it is possible to have an early access, making sure buyers get the lowest price possible, and also avoid sold out?
No, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that the prices should be the same. The only difference can be is that once a developer has started building the property, it could be that they, and this is quite common, they will charge you on the so if a developer starts building, then they would need to already finance their builders, the materials, etc. So they will charge you something we call a builder's interest. So that is something that could happen, but the price of the plot and the price of the property itself or the construction, that will not change. And yes, we do have connections. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out to me or to the team. Yeah.
Do you provide mortgages for professional investors, people who have 4 or more houses?
Yeah, we do. We have our network of lenders that we can use for professional investors. Quite a specific question.
How the equity is calculated when we move to a new home from selling an existing home? Does the bank take the full equity consideration, the profit, or is it our choice to decide how much we want to take into a mortgage for a new home?
Okay. this has two sides to it. One is what is the bank's policy. Usually they will not take the full amount. So, giving you an example, the value of your home is 500K. The outstanding mortgage balance is 400K. Then in that case, you cannot use 100K and put it on top of whatever you can borrow. And depending on the bank, they will either deduct and this is more common. So they will put a deduction on the value of your home, and then that difference you can borrow as a bridging loan. And usually that a bridging loan is for 2 or 3 years, depending on the bank.
Mm.
But that could help you to either borrow an additional sum. Yeah.
Okay. And I think the last question.
Mm-hmm.
What are considering among total income when getting a mortgage? Are all benefits considered? In case of healthcare workers, income is a little bit different from what's on the contract. If you're doing overtime every month and getting more salary than what's on the contract,
Yeah.
is it also considered among total income?
Yeah, it is. Also depends on the bank again, and depending on the bank's policy. But so we work with 30 banks. If that's something that is needed for the mortgage application and you feel comfortable, then we can definitely look into using overtime. So we can use that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's it, I think. There was one more question from Zuska. Do you apply only 2% transfer tax in your calculations? So I guess it was related with our examples.
Yeah.
But
I can see the I can see the question from Zhuzha. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Could you maybe I don't know if you could rephrase the question, but you could also schedule a call. I don't fully understand the question, to be fair.
okay, so
Yeah.
this is all the questions for today.
All right. It was the questions were good. I really liked them. So thank you a lot to everybody attending.
Thank you so much to our wonderful speakers, Cesar and Egle. And thank you all for being here. I hope this is the first step to great things for you. We'll definitely see you all in the next webinar, and we'll send out the recording. Thanks once again, and we'll see you all next time. Have a great rest of day.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.